Blessings. Come on in. We got a great co-host today, our guest. I want to thank everyone for tuning in, whether it be live or the replay. If you are here, whether it be live or the replay, please don't forget to share. Sharing is caring, just like the Care Bears. So, showing my age again. It's okay. So please share, comment. If you guys have any questions, concerns, whatever, drop it all in the comment box, please. And also too, if you're interested, if you're an entrepreneur, a public speaker, motivation coach, if you guys are ever interested, please feel free to shoot me a message, and then you can be our next co-host as well. So let me first begin by introducing myself. My name is Nicole. I'm the CEO and owner of Moms Need Help Too, Mommy Concierge and Childcare. We actually assist all of our community and our families here in Hampton Roads, Virginia. So our beautiful co-host, Miss Tina, is here. She is a doula, a postpartum doula. And I know people are thinking like, well, your topic or what I have displayed is think of fairy godmother or Mary Poppins. And Tina, I hope you know I did that because it was in your write up that you sent me. I was like, that's cute. I'm gonna use it because people will be like, what the heck are you talking about? So please feel free to respond to that. However, without further ado, Tina is our co-host again, and she's going to share what she does. And so we can learn a little bit more about what a doula is, especially a postpartum doula. So, Tina, welcome. And please share with them who you are and, your why you started.
Absolutely. So, my name is Tina, and I am a DONA certified postpartum doula. And like I told you in my write up, I always explain to my clients when I first meet them, think of me as your mom that you can tell what to do, but at the same time, like a fairy godmother and Mary Poppins, because I try to stay at least a few steps ahead of the mom. So that way, like water will magically appear, or, a sandwich may magically appear because she said, hey, I have a craving for X, Y, and Z. And then there's
Right,
that magical sandwich.
right,
um, but I come in after the baby's born. I don't attend births, but I come in after. I can come in within a few hours after baby's born. Of course, now COVID, that prevents me from going into the hospitals right now. But usually with some home births or anything like that, if they get discharged within, for some reason, the same day from the hospital,
right,
um, I'm there to welcome them home, get them unpacked, get them ready, make sure they have something to eat. Um, that the mom may have her breastfeeding station kind of like pre-set up and ready to go for the first night at home. Um, I'm starting to, now that my kids are a little bit older, being able to do overnights, just to help adjust with the lack of sleep, getting that breastfeeding bond if the mother chooses to attempt to breastfeed. Um, I usually try to come prepared with a lot of referrals, when things may go outside of my scope of practice in regards to breastfeeding. I have a personal massage therapist that I can book for the mom who will actually come in home while I am there, to kind of work out those nursing shoulders or the pumping shoulders, as we call them, just to make sure that mom is good and healthy and relaxed, and try to make that fourth trimester less stressful,
right,
less isolation, especially
right.
now with COVID. It's more needed more than ever, because a lot of these moms they're going home. Their parents may not be able to come, or anything like that, and they just feel cut off, like they've had this baby, now they have to figure it out on their own.
Right.
And that's where we as postpartum doulas come in, and we step in and fill in that missing link that's there in the
Yeah.
community. So
Wonderful. Now, also too, when it comes to, let me take a drink. Gosh, where'd that come from? Woo. When it comes to, your why, like what made you say, you know what, postpartum doula, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do that for as my journey.
it was kind of weird. As I say, I've been unofficially doing this for coming up on 15 years. My nieces will turn 15 January 1st. They're New Year's babies. Um, and when my sister had her girls, she was a single mom. And I mean, she had my mom, she had my dad, and she had family, but it was like she was given two babies, and I didn't know what postpartum depression was.
Right.
I thought, unfortunately, that it was that at the time it was it's an excuse for moms. I wasn't a mom. I've never witnessed it. The media at the time was, it's, yeah, sure, it's postpartum depression. It's not
Right.
real.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Right.
and I was her support person. And she went through it. I mean, she checked out mentally, she checked out emotionally. I didn't fully see it coming, but I could see there was something there. And I was at work and I got the call from a neighbor saying that, hey, your sister's kind of like lights out and she's sitting in the middle of the road.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm sorry, say what now? And I
Yeah.
drove up and I asked her, I said, what are you doing? And she was like, it'd just be better if the girls went to you or mom or whoever and I wasn't here anymore. And I was like, okay, see, this is where I'm coming in as the younger sister. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is not how it's going to go down.
Right. Right.
And I remember sitting with her and talking with her doctor and discovering that, oh my gosh, this is real and there's no support for these women.
Yeah.
So I was there with her, walked her through it, kind of watched over her a little bit, helped her through, the harder parts. And then she met her husband. I think the girls were about 4 or 5 months old, 6 months old. And I was married when she had her girls, and then we got pregnant at the same time, about like 6 months apart. And she had her baby boy, and she was doing good. I was still kind of watching over her, letting her husband know, hey, this is what happened before, kind of keep an eye.
Right.
And then I had my boy, and it was like, they let me go home with this baby. And
Right.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Right. Right.
And it was the first 2 weeks, meals and visitors and everything. And it was like, okay, 2 weeks, now you're on your own. And I'm sitting here going, but I'm tired now.
Right.
I wasn't tired before.
Right.
And I remember calling my sister and I was like, I'm exhausted and I don't know what to do.
Right.
And she's like, well, honey, we have to do this. This is what we do. And I'm like, this is not what I'm doing. I'm tired.
Right. Right.
And I was like, but who do I reach out to? Who do I talk to? Like, I was kind of the one that had babies before all my friends. So I'm like, what do I do? So I literally made my own village.
Yeah.
I was like, I need friends. I need people who understand what I'm going through.
Right.
And then I was like, this isn't how women should be treated. Like,
Right.
it's not 2 weeks and now baby sleeps through the night and you're perfectly normal. No, it takes us, 8 to 12 weeks to get back to normal.
Right.
And I think it was 6 years ago, my friend had her baby. And I just kept, helping moms every time I could. I was like, hey, you just had your baby. You want to go for a play date? Hey, we have this play group. Hey, we have so-and-so over here. Or do you need a meal? Do you need a nap? Do you need a shower? Are you struggling with breastfeeding?
Right.
What can I do to help you? And my husband looked at me in the hospital because I was holding this little baby. And I was just like, oh, when do you guys want a meal? When are you going home? How can I help you out? Reaching out. And he goes, why don't you make this a job? He was like, you want to do something a job that is just you. Why don't you just do it? And I was like, sweet, I'm going to create this new job. No one's ever heard of it. And then I talked to my midwife and she was like, those already exist. They're called postpartum doulas. You really should look into that. I was like, what?
Wow.
I was like, I've been doing this for how long? And this is
Yeah.
a job? And then I just jumped in feet first without not even looking for a safety net. I was like, I'm doing it. I don't know how this is going to happen, but I'm going to do it. And God bless all of it, 100%. I got a babysitting job that literally paid for the training, the hotel, everything that I needed to get started. And it's just been, from that day, it's been like free falling.
I know that's right.
And
That
I'm
is
just like,
wonderful.
woo.
Yes, it's amazing. I mean, when you find your purpose, I'm telling you, it's nothing like it. It really
Yes.
isn't. It's mind blowing, you know. And but I truly appreciate you because even when I was passing through, um, you know, when I was going through my transition, from
Mm-hmm.
childbirth, it was hard, man. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, he's 7 now. I have two, I have two additional, two older ones. But not every pregnancy is the same.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So, and at the time, I'm just thinking like, okay, well, I got this. It's cool. I just dropped the other two off at school, and then I just, kind of come back and do the nursing and do all that other stuff. But after a while, you look like I can't do it. And it's not that not speaking negatively, but you have to be able to, or women have to be able to see things and just know, like, I'm gonna try to do it, but it's okay to be overwhelmed. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to have that feeling, but the next step has to be, I need help. You can't just be overwhelmed and be like, I'm just gonna do it myself. You see what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So when it comes to your clientele, like when your clients, like, is there a way that you sometimes have to sit them down and be like, you know what, sit down somewhere. You know what I mean? Or like, how do you kind of maneuver that with them?
So a lot of the times, when I first get there every morning, if I'm working mornings or afternoon, the first thing I need to ask is, how was the night before? And then how are you doing?
Yeah.
Because it's hard for, like, when we do virtual and mom can look at you in the camera and be like, I'm great. I feel wonderful. And you can't get, as I told one of my clients, there's a vibe that moms get off when they're not okay. And I don't know how I've picked up on it, but I've had moms look me dead in the face and they're like, it's great. And I look at them, is it really? Are you sure?
Right.
And I don't know if it's like the lean in, or if it's the, no, really, this is a safe space. And then they share it. And I'm like, okay, we know our feelings.
Right.
This is normal.
Right.
And then there are times where I have to look at them and I have to tell them that this is borderline not normal.
Okay.
And that's the part that is the hardest, because it's the reality that you're not normal, and it's okay to not be normal, but we need to figure out how can we fix it? Can we fix it holistically? A few essential oils, some, massages just to get the anxiety out, talking, or do we need to step in and see a doctor and prefer, possibly get medication before it gets too out there.
So there's like triggers, like there's like little I'm just trying to understand, like, when you come across a mom, if it's ever happened, and you're kind of like, yeah, that's borderline. Like, how do you break that down to a mom in that state? You know what I mean?
It's hard because technically we're not allowed to say, hey, you're showing signs of postpartum mood disorders. But I let them know, I'm noticing that you're not holding baby as much. Is there anything going on? I've noticed that you prefer for me to be holding baby while you're keeping busier than normal. Um, I had one mom who she just wanted to run errands every time I was there. I said, but you can't leave baby with me. We have to go. And she seemed a little taken aback by I was like, you can't leave baby with me.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, well, I just need a moment. I just need to get out. And I was like, okay, but we can do that together.
Mm-hmm.
And is there something going on?
Mm-hmm.
So, and we talked, and then I realized that it wasn't normal for the way that she was kind of like coming around things. And I was like, okay, but I think we need to talk. So we would sit down and we would talk, and then I would ask her, do you have somebody who can come in and stay for a little while, because her husband was deployed.
Right.
And then I just sent out an email to him saying, hey, this is what I'm noticing.
Yeah.
Um, we may need to talk more or see who we can talk to. And then that's when he contacted her dad and brought dad in, and we arranged so that way she could sit down and talk with the doctor. And it was on the safety end of things
Yeah.
before they got really bad. So,
Wow. Wow.
but it was,
So, like, when you go, like, I don't know if you do it at consultations or whatnot, or it's just an ongoing thing when it comes to you schooling your clients, these moms, when it comes to, postpartum versus baby blues, because I know for me, I didn't know what I was going through. I just thought
yeah,
and not saying necessarily need a nap. I just thought I was just having a rough day. You know what I mean? I thought I
yeah,
was just, this is part of the transition because I didn't go through it with the other two. And if I did, it
right.
was very mild. But this one here, I just was like, I mean, granted, and I thank God that I was still able to, breastfeed and everything. It's just that I was very emotional. I just cried all the time. And it
Hmm.
just felt like sometimes it felt like I was in this, I call it the sunken place. I don't know how else to try to explain, but it just felt like I was in like a dark hole.
And you can't get out, and it's
Yeah.
just like no matter what you do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like, yeah. So that's my biggest
usually,
thing is, I'm sorry, love, but that's the biggest thing is it's like, um, I know a lot of us as women, we're so used to rocking that S on our chest and be like, no, I got
hmm
this, I'm invincible. And and you still are, so it's
hmm
just kind of like breaking it down for a rest and letting them know, like, you are still that.
hmm
However, this is what's going on. And getting them to see that for true.
yes. So that's what a lot of times, like I remind them, you are amazing. You gave birth to a human being. You brought life into this world. But sometimes we have to hang up our capes and let other people help.
Yeah.
And, because for in regards to the educating them, I've created a welcome home packet, and it has a sheet that explains baby blues versus depression.
Right.
And I've had moms call me and say, this is what's going on. Should I reach out to somebody? And I'm
Right.
like, well, let's talk a little bit more. Let's see if it's something that's all of a sudden
Right.
or if it's something that has led up to it.
Right.
Um, And then recently, for in January, I've kicked off a preparing for postpartum. And that's part of the class because a lot of moms don't know. And doctors just go, okay, here's your checklist. If you feel any of these, let us know.
Yeah.
But you can feel those, but
Right.
it can still just be baby blues. Because, I mean,
Right.
baby number 2 for me, I woke up in my sleep crying in the hospital. And I just told the nurses, like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, it's just baby blues. I'm fine. And I
Mm.
just walked off to the bathroom, and she's like, she looked at me and she goes, say what now?
Yeah. Right. Absolutely.
I was like, yeah, it's just hormones. I'm fine. And she
Yeah.
was like, and then I went right back to sleep.
Mm.
And I woke up the next morning. I got dressed and I'm like, I'm ready to go home. And
Right.
she's like, most moms don't do that.
Right. Exactly. Let's go.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just ready to go home. And I'm like, and she's
Wow.
like, and then come to find out, it was a slight form of, I guess, like hyper, like where you're very productive to shadow the depression.
Oh, it's like a mask. Yeah,
Yeah.
like a
And
facade.
my midwife caught it and she was like, but what's going on? And I
Mm.
was like, nothing. I'm doing this, this, and this, and this, and this. And she was like, but you're hyperactive, like
Yeah.
hyper productive or something like that. And I
Right.
was like, I don't know. And then she just like, I don't know what button she pushed or
Uh,
what she said, but it was just like, if I don't do stuff, well, then I have these feelings and blah, blah. And she was like, there you
oh,
go. And I was like,
wow.
oh,
Wow.
okay.
And isn't it amazing how our minds work? And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
woo, man, it's crazy how it's not crazy. I'm trying to. I don't want to have any kind of negative. It's just more or less like we're so used to wearing like a facade. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Whether this is outside of depression. Um, but we're just so as moms, even if we're having a rough day, because I know I do it all the time. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times a part of me wants to cry, and the other part of me is like, nope, keep the face on because you got to keep it moving. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And it's just amazing, how we are, and things just kind of snap into place, and we're like, all right, cover that up, you know.
Yeah.
And then also too, when it comes to the stigma of this, is more or less like, how do we remove that stigma, especially if our minds, because if see how you were able, your midwife pointed that out, but
Mm-hmm.
if a mother is home and that happens and she's around her husband and everything, it's kind of like they're not going to know, like, hey, that's, there's a warning
Right.
sign there. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like keeping everybody educated. And this is why I love connecting with professionals like yourself, so you can get that awareness out there and let them know, like, not that's not normal. You know,
Right.
you know what I mean? So, but also too, when it comes to, because I know you being a postpartum doula, when it comes to breastfeeding, that's something else you can kind of jump in and assist with as well?
So I can definitely support with it. There's I guess like a line
Mm,
that we have to set up. Like I cannot diagnose any breastfeeding complications. I've been taught how to position baby, how to communicate to mom, how to hold her breast when she's trying to get baby to first latch.
yeah.
Look for signs of milk coming down when
Okay.
she's nursing. Um, but once it passes that barrier, I do have several CLCs and IBCLCs that I refer to mom. So that way, that if there's something that I can't help them with, then I can get that connection. And I try to let the moms handle it. But there are times with my last client, it was one of those moments of, you know, she's got her hands full. I need to reach out. I made the appointment. I scheduled between the two of them and I brought her in the next day and I was like, we've got to get this under control
Right.
because it was
Yeah.
turning into a mastitis and other complications. And I was like,
Wow.
we don't need that.
No. Ouch. Yeah, no, not at all.
So,
Um, Now what about, like, how they have like that lactation teas and all that great stuff? Do you have something like that you can refer them to, like a person, like a holistic, or how would you do that when it comes to mom's milk? Not coming in
um,
fully and stuff.
so usually when it comes to teas, I would refer them um, to double check with a lactation consultant because there are teas out there that even though they're designed for mother's milk, they actually hinder the
Mm,
milk production. One in particular, it's just a mother's milk or something like that. It actually has like a peppermint in it that actually counteracts the production. So, because
wow.
peppermint has the ability to decrease milk flow.
Wow.
But
And
so
you would
I'm,
think, like, why is that in there then? Like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, it's kind of like, it's like an oxymoron, you know what I mean? Or whatever, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, it seems like it's for, but it's really not. You got to read the small fine
right.
print or something, That's crazy. I never knew that. Honestly, I really never knew that.
Yes.
So, but another thing too, I know they have like the little cookies and all that stuff that mom
Hmm.
can eat and stuff. You make those?
I do.
Yay! Okay, talk about that. Yeah, so they, moms can know.
Yes. So I have I have to look for them, but I have like little recipe cards I keep with me. So
Hmm.
that way when they want, if they want to make them, we can make them together. Um, a lot of them call for brewer's yeast.
Hmm. Who?
Um,
I'm sorry, say
and
it
it's
What, what was it again?
brewers
Brewers.
brewers brewer's yeast.
Oh, okay.
Basically like something that you find in beer.
Ah, okay.
Um, so I found it at the vitamin shop.
Mm.
And so that way you don't have to keep breaking up little capsules.
Yeah.
You can just get it in a jar.
Oh.
And I've made energy balls that are made from like peanut butter, chocolate. Um, my brain wants to say honey and oats,
Okay.
and then the brewer's yeast inside.
Okay.
Um, I've made the cookies. The cookies are better than the energy balls unless you don't mind the taste of the yeast. I don't
Mm.
like beer, so like to me it's a little strong. So I'm like,
Yeah.
eh.
Right.
Give me a cookie where it's baked inside.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
My next attempt is to look for like a brownie because I
Mm.
love me some brownies.
I
So
mean, I
I'm
would eat
like,
it just, and I'm not even, I'm not even going through the motion. I would just eat it. You know what I mean? But yeah, yeah. Okay, brownies. Uh-huh.
and then there are some shakes if you like protein shakes that
Hmm.
you can make some for lactation. And then we've even found overnight oats,
Hmm.
like with the yogurt and oats and all that,
Yeah.
that you can do for lactation as well. But good
Sweet.
old fashioned water and protein.
Uh, I can. I don't. That doesn't sound tasty. Like
I
we can
know.
talk about brownies again because that doesn't sound tasty. But
I,
when it comes to your because I know we're going to be wrapping up soon, but when it comes to your clientele, so because do you see, because there's a lot of teens having babies. So is there something that isn't kind of like an outreach or something that you do for like the youth or like the teen moms?
I haven't yet.
Mm.
Um, but usually if I'm asked or anything like that, I mean if usually I can adjust um like hourly rates or anything or just to cover the cost originally before COVID,
Yeah,
childcare. But now that my husband works from home, it's a little bit easier now that my son's older, he can actually take over.
yeah.
Um, but I try to make it as available.
Mm.
Um, it's like we try to work on a sliding scale for pricing, or I do try to at least once a year offer free services to those who are in need,
Right.
and then go from there.
Wonderful. I think that's wonderful because I know, um, I mean, I think only one time I've visited um, a baby having a baby. And
Hmm.
I know for me, it was heartbreaking.
It
Um,
is.
and and I know when even though she was holding her now newborn, still in the hospital, but it was like I can tell, like in her eyes, like her eyes were speaking volumes to me. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And I think that's where that, you can tell, like it's like she has no idea. I mean, she
Hmm.
knows what just happened, but it didn't click yet. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Um, so my biggest thing is being able to provide support to our youth, whether it
Hmm.
be with or without babies, and encourage them and motivate them to be their best selves, But also
Exactly.
too, now that they're a mommy, it's kind of like, um, what can we do as a community, a solid village to to continue instilling to them, those skill sets that they need, but now
Hmm.
as a parent, so I would love to be able to, once you get everything going, I mean, please give me any kind of information that you have going forward, so I know exactly who to direct them to, if
Absolutely.
but thank you so much. Thank you so much for for joining me this evening. I truly appreciate you and everything that you do, and continued blessings on your journey, because it's amazing and it's greatly needed, and that's, again, in closing, that's why I started Moms Need Help Too, is because I didn't have
Mm-hmm.
that, by God's grace, we created it.
Yes.
So I truly appreciate you, love. Thank you so much. And if you can just let people know how they can reach you, whether it be, whatever your handles are, your website, email, phone number, just let them know.
Yeah, absolutely. So my website is tinathedoula.com. I'm on Instagram and Facebook. It's all one word, Tina the Postpartum Doula. And then my email is real simple, tinathedoula@gmail.com.
Wonderful. And then also too, when just to let our viewers know, all the information that she just stated, Tina, if you can just kind of put that in the comments section, just so they know how to reach out to you. Okay.
Absolutely.
So guys, thank you so much for joining us. Again, please feel free to like and share, comment, leave, drop whatever tidbits that you have for Tina, and she will definitely respond to you. Again, thank you so much. Nicole here from Moms Need Help Too, Mommy Concierge and Childcare. If you need us at any time, whether it be to connect you with Tina or similar professionals here in Hampton Roads area, please reach out to us, 757-504-0511. And our website is www.moms.need-help-to, which is TOOLLC.com. Or you can reach us through Instagram, which is Moms Need Help number 2, or through our Facebook at Moms Need Help Too. Thank you guys so much for joining, and God bless. Till next time. Peace.
Bye.